Thank you very much for inviting us to share some updates on this project. It has been a project, that's for sure. You know, we were supposed to be in October, and it's now March. So you can tell that, or April, it's now April. Forget that the calendar changed. It's been a much longer process than we thought it was going to be, mainly because of COVID and all the, you know, setbacks we had about that. But we are very excited about this project. And, you know, we were asked early this week to do a presentation. So because Beth is always at the ready, she said yes, and I said okay. But this is not a polished presentation. It's more of a update, and we would love to be able to come back to you with the architect, Jack Beyer from Jeff Goldstone's architecture firm, to really kind of talk to you a little bit more about how we started, what was our vision, and how we came to the design work. But we are very excited about sharing an update with you. So Beth will start with sharing pictures.
Sure. And I just want to say, Betsy and I were reflecting this morning that she had Jack, and I think even maybe Jeff, lined up to do a big presentation for our Rotary Club the Friday that everything shut down last March.
Right. So I don't want to disappoint him and not have him be able to share his design ideas. So we will come back to you with a more polished presentation, but this is just a fun conversation to have with all of you.
And the other thing I just want to point out is, you know, so this is an innovative partnership passion project that includes partners like the YMCA and the town and the rec center, which is pretty unusual and pretty groundbreaking. Being able to, I remember when we first embarked on this and talking to people around the state, and we heard a lot of, wow, you're partnering with the municipality, because that's a big deal, and it's not done often, and it comes with its own challenges. And so we're really proud that this is the result of hard work and partnerships across the board. The rec center, the existing building, the name may change a little bit to like the rec center campus is something that the town has talked about. We're still kicking around ideas for what that facility will be called, but the spring center refers to the addition, our early childhood addition. So without further ado, I will start sharing this slideshow. It is really, like Mary Lou was talking about, sharing pictures from vacation. This is just a picture deck. We wanted to bring you, and it's a compilation of like 3 different PowerPoints that we've presented to the community in the last few months, or to the legislators. So I tried to pull from each of them and also provide the most recent photos. So at the end, you will see some photos that were taken just yesterday. But we wanted to bring it through kind of start to finish. So,
and just out of curiosity, how many of you have driven by the rec center and seen this going on? Some of you live in the area maybe, but it is somewhat out of the way sometimes for people because they may not be going swimming or to the rec center. But I encourage every single person to drive by. The pictures don't do justice. They really don't. And we're really pleased with how it's situated in the community. And so when you're looking for that socially distant drive, take a drive down Gage Street.
Yeah. I know we have some people who camp out in the parking lot and watch the construction. That's something my grandpa always did too. Whenever there was a big road project or a big construction, you know, that was like the social hour that he got each year, or each day, was to go and park and watch the workers do what they do, and almost like a supervisor. And we have a couple of those folks in our parking lots. We're happy to have them. So this is the concept. This is the 3D model that we were going off, looking at the center of the building. You see, this is the existing building over here. We have a large entrance. We are moving the entrance from the side of the building where it is right now. If you were to go swim, you know, you would go down the sidewalk on the side, and then you or your children would disappear behind that new storage closet shed that they added on, and hopefully make it into the facility, but now we're rerouting traffic to this new main entrance here. And then we have a secondary entrance over here that's specifically for children and families who are entering the early childhood center. This out here, and you'll see some more pictures toward the end, is what we're calling the great room, or the large community space. It has really high ceilings. We have some great technology going in there, but this is another kind of community space. Oh my gosh, it's doing the
thing. The auto, we keep trying to turn the auto slide off, but anyway.
I will try. We had some timing issues in a previous presentation. So this is when we broke ground, which was, what was it, Betsy? October 2019?
Yeah.
It seems like just yesterday and so long ago at the same time. I keep saying to folks, you know, we planned for construction through one winter. We've now finished 2 winters of construction. We did have the governor come down, and we had some kiddos. It was a great day. We also had some slushies from Mike and Sarah, Green Mountain Concession, for that event. We're pretty excited there. So this is all of the site work and the hole in the grounds that was there, and now it's just moving on its own. For so long, it was a hole in the ground. We had some water things going on, some pipes. I gotta stop this.
You press, I think, Beth, if you go down to the bottom and press stop.
I'm sharing my...
May stop for you. We'll give her a second to get it back together again. But, you know, what Beth was trying to show you was that within the first 2 weeks of the project, we had a very large, I don't know, $15,000 expense, because we ran into some water underground. You know, Morgan Springs is there. This is an area that has water going under it. So we had to reroute some of the pipes, and we continued to work around some of the water. We were all concerned about hitting rocks. Well, that wasn't our concern. It was hitting water when we began the construction. So that gives a little sense of, we're calling it the Spring Center, not only because we're opening in the spring and we're dealing with young children in the spring of their life and all those good metaphors that you could tie in. But we do know that the Morgan Springs is there, and that's a significant part of the property. So,
right.
Here we go, Beth.
I clicked off timings.
So see if we can redo this.
Let's hope so. Okay.
Yep.
We had the big hole in the ground.
Yeah, the big hole in the ground.
Then we had, come on.
And the basement was a major part of this construction for the rec center, because this allowed us to put, you'll see the elevator in that will allow us to have access to those lower rooms that many of you know the YMCA uses for children. So this was part of our community collaboration in putting in this very large, it turned out to be a big project to put in this basement, but it allowed us, you'll see later on, to have some really good additions, but really was a commitment to the town so that we could have access to the lower level.
One's up on top.
Finally, we made it out of the grounds.
Yep.
We started to get some walls up over the summer. Luckily, we didn't hit any large boulders. That was a fear early on, right? Because it is a rocky site. It's a riverbed, essentially, on that site. But we lucked out in that way, right, Betsy?
Yep. Yeah, very much so.
You can start to see the shape that this was taking with that sawtooth roof. And there's Betsy getting her claim to fame.
Right. And the sawtooth roof was a reference to Bennington being a mill town, and understanding that a lot of mills have that type of shape, and also being able to think of this through a young child's perspective. You'll see it was built in the concept of, if a child was building with blocks, what kind of building would they build? So recognition of some of the shapes that children build with.
Moving slowly here. So here we have the basements. It is more refined now, but what I like about these photos is it shows you where the elevator is coming down to. So, and here you can see it from a different angle. This doorway that we were able to make into the existing basement is right outside of where you get off the elevator. So it really was a huge benefit to the rec center and to the town to be able to make that space accessible. They haven't had programming in the basement for a while because all they had was that stairway and kind of the center of the rec center. And if you have mobility issues, or you have if you're in a wheelchair, you know, you really, that's not considered accessible. Those folks could not use that space. So opening that up so that those large activity rooms can be used on a regular basis now is a huge benefit. And then kind of behind, if you were taking this photo, behind your back is a second set of egress stairs. So it allows school age programming kids to use that space, you know, additional activity space.
The other thing that we added to the rec center part, which is not very glamorous, but is very safe, is we sprinkled the whole YMCA, or the rec center part. That was our commitment to adding upgraded safety. It's kind of a little bit, you know, to some of us, you had to sprinkle the pool, and that's what we had to do. We had to put we had to sprinkle the pool, and we put an upgraded voice activated alarm system throughout the whole building. So the YMCA certainly, in the rec center, benefited from all this construction in a major way.
This is still the basement. If you're looking at this photo here, that's the elevator. The existing basement is to the left of this. This is, since this photo, it's been sheetrocked. It's actually going to be a really nice finished space. This is a doorway to this other storage area on the right here. We know that one of our biggest challenges in all of our facilities is always storage. Diapers for 27 kids take up a lot of space, as do food and manipulatives and, you know, all the stuff that comes. If you're like me, I'm overwhelmed in one space with one child. I can't imagine, you know, it's like that multiplied. So we were really excited to be able to have that additional storage. We also have like a pretty sizable space that is the lobby in the basement. And so it's fun to think about what we can do with that space too, with the Y. And then this is what our health manager calls the food vaults. We were able to secure a farm to school grant early on in the project that contributed $15,000 to this walk-in cooler and walk-in freezer, which was just, you know, so cool. This project really is the result of so many different funding streams, and that's another thing that makes it pretty innovative, like the Putnam Block. And I can't remember how many different funding streams Brian McKenna reported that made the Putnam Block possible. But this is, you know, a federal grant, Office of Head Start, federal funds, grants that have been made available through our partnership with the municipality. COVID Act funds have helped with this. We've had private donations, private donors, the Farm to School grant, and then a USDA facilities grant. So a lot of different funding streams went into this. I'm wondering if I see a blinking light, like there might be questions in the chat. Betsy, can you monitor those for us? Or Dana?
Yeah, that's fine. It was actually me just giving you it's 10 minutes to 1. So I just didn't want you.
Okay, thanks.
I know.
Helping keep me on track. Yep. So this is the great room without the sheetrocking yet. This is the space. We have a storage closet here for all of the tables and chairs. You have bathrooms over here, public bathrooms, a family restroom, and ADA accessible. bathrooms, beautiful exposed beams. It's so bright in this space. And this is where we'll really be teaming up to offer programming with the Y, but then also looking to the community to be using this space for programming and events. You know, we have to do a little work around processes and liability and, you know, working through all of that fun stuff. But we really look forward to this space being used, adding to, you know, other community spaces. And what we're not showing, what we don't have a photo of is, there it is with the sheetrock, is that we also have a small community kitchen that will be ADA accessible and will be open to the community to lease and to use for, you know, fundraisers or selling smoothies during swim meets, things like that. This is the lobby. When you walk in that new entrance, you have a lot of natural light, exposed beams here. This will be the new reception desk or reception area for the rec center. We have this really cool curved desk that will lead you back. You can't see in this photo because it's blocked off so that they could work in that space. But you'll walk around the desk and back into the rec center entrance. This again is the elevator. We're gonna have an electronic bulletin board here so that we can put up community events, notices, things like that. This is kind of looking into the spring center wing of the facility. Again, it looks nothing like that now. It's got a first coat of paint on it at this point, which is really exciting. This is a relatively recent photo of our commercial kitchen. Just like, you know, so many kids, 60 kids take up a lot of storage. We need a lot of space to prepare their meals. So the hood has been installed above our cooking equipment. And through this door here, we don't have a great picture of it, but this is our children's learning kitchen. And that is being built so that all of the appliances, all of the countertops and tables are built at preschooler height. And there's a little serving window out into the hallway. So we see, you know, mini preschool cooking classes happening in there. We also have a monitor so that it can be interactive. And we see this not just benefiting the kids who attend the Spring Center facility, but also other facilities that we have.
And once we're past this pandemic, we will be looking for guest chefs. So I know some Rotarians know their way around a kitchen. So we may have you come in and be a guest chef with our kids. Or we can zoom you in onto the screen and you can run your own little cooking show for the kids.
Right. This is what we refer to as the Great Hall. You can see it has a curve to it. And this wood here, I think this is what's called furring. It is going to support metal panels. So the whole hallway from this top board to the bottom is going to be metal along that curved wall, that eastern side, so that we can use magnets to offer STEM activities and art activities. It's really meant to be an interactive wall. We've been working with Matthew Perry at the Vermont Arts Exchange to develop this concept. He's actually made a mini metal wall and brought it into one of our buildings. So the kids have already started practicing interacting with it. You can do magnetic storyboards. We're really excited about this feature. And we also, when the flooring goes down, you'll see blue tiles through here. So it's kind of referencing a river through that hallway. This is a more recent photo. This was actually taken yesterday. You can see the blue, you can see the painted ceiling. Another view looking down the hallway. So the classrooms are all on the right and the offices are all on the left. And then we wanted to show this, what's called a solar tube. You'll see there are several of these going down the length of the hall. We have really great, beautiful natural light on the classroom side of the building, but because we're added on to an existing facility, it could be pretty dark in the interior of the building. So these solar tubes actually go all the way up to the roof. the sun, and then you can't really see, but this is a prismed surface. So the natural light is filtered through the solar tube and then refracted through that prism. It's very cool. This is one of our preschool classrooms. Again, we don't have flooring down yet, but ceilings are painted, walls are painted, trim. We'll have 2 nesting doors here. This is a classroom that can be converted to infant toddler classrooms if that's a need that arises. This is one of our infant toddler classrooms. So the infant toddler classrooms are all this pretty green, and the preschool classrooms are the blue. They have shared patios. So this is an outdoor exit that goes onto a patio that we can put different sensory tables or outdoor equipment on, and then also onto the playgrounds. This is our activity niche, and what I'm trying to show here, we kept the brick along that wall, along the wall of the rec center. One of the concerns early on in the project from the members was that we would be blocking the windows that they had just put in, and we would be blocking natural light into the pool. So the architects came up with this great idea to put skylights directly above those windows. So the natural light would still continue to filter into the pool. This is our office workspace. We have privacy rooms in there, a collaborative office layout for our teachers, but then if they need to have private meetings, they can do that in those privacy offices. We have our mental health and disabilities coordinator will be housed in this building. We also have another shared office with our early Head Start health case manager and family service staff. These are like my favorite pictures. This is our infant toddler playgrounds up here. And what you see here is the layout for the trike track. If you saw any of our presentations to the select board or in Pulse, we've talked about this trike track. And that's why we have the little street signs along there. Right now, we're waiting for the paving plants to reopen so we can get that poured, but it is all sketched out, laid out now. This is now all mulch in the center. So we have the infant toddler playgrounds, and then further down the hill, you see where the preschool playground is. And this is really, I keep saying, one of the pieces that I'm so excited about, because it doesn't just benefit the children and families who are enrolled in this program. This benefits the whole neighborhood. And, you know, the rec center is perfectly situated in one of the most densely populated residential neighborhoods in downtown Bennington. If you look at the population density map, we have a lot of residences, you know, right around the block here. And we don't have a lot of preschool or especially infant toddler play spaces for families in Bennington. So the fact that we'll be able to offer this, and this will be open to the public on weekends and in the evenings, I think is really exciting for the neighborhood. This is a pretty recent picture of what the outside is looking like. A little more work has been done there. Then Betsy, do you want to talk about phase 2?
Sure, and I know you may need to run, but you know, this started with a, you know, what I call a scheme and a dream of having, you know, additional early childhood services downtown in Bennington. We have been looking for a site for decades to find a place. So when we started conversations with the town, it was very exciting to think about adding on to an existing building and making an existing building better than it was to begin with, right? Because, you know, it's somewhat easy to find land and build in some respects, but we really wanted to make a commitment to the town of Bennington. So when we first came up with this project, obviously it was to enhance early childhood services and child care services, because we know for economic development, we we so severely need additional childcare spaces. But, you know, I had a little bit further of a dream and a scheme, and I'll just put it out there because I don't let it go, which is to enhance the whole recreation center. You know, I think that that's a big project, and obviously the town has concerns about funding and those types of things. But, you know, I guess, you know, as you age and stage, as many of us do, I look for a wonderful place to be able to walk inside. Having an indoor running track would be absolutely wonderful, I think. I also think the youth coming into our community are expecting more when it comes to recreation. This was part of the overall project design so that we could add on a gym at the end of the building that would have an interior running track. We could enhance the, you know, recreation services with additional rooms for yoga and different types of classes. I don't let the idea go, so I keep bringing it forth everywhere I go. But we know that it's a town of Bennington consideration. It's not, you know, under our auspices, but the reason the building was designed the way it was with the idea that you could expand on top of and to the side of and kind of build around the current recreation center and enhance that center as a whole. You know, we do have some wonderful recreation center opportunities happening with SVC, with having maybe the armory. So there's lots of other things in the middle school wing there. I think the Y is also going to be using. So we're really part of a hub, of a campus that we're really excited to see all the changes that are happening in Bennington. So I think Beth ran. Did she say goodbye? And, you know, again, I thank her for all of her effort and vision with all of this project. So I'll take questions.
All right, well, I've got a question. What is the relation between your organization and the Y and the town? Because I've always been a little confused about if the Y taking over the rec center is a short-term thing, and I don't know, just how does all that work together?
So the town owns the Bennington Recreation Center, and it continues to own the land even that we built on. So we have a 90-year lease for that land. Health and Human Services and other funding sources from the feds help do our building. But the town continues to own the rec center land, and they continue to own the recreation center. What they have entered into is an agreement with the Berkshire YMCA to do management of all the different recreational opportunities that the rec center wants to offer. So, you know, it is confusing. It's confusing even in the process of building this, because everybody thought, oh, we're getting, you know, the gym out of this project. And I kept saying, no, 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 you're not getting the gym out of this project, even though we showed you the pictures in the very beginning. But the YMCA is actually an organizational contract. And the staff work there now for the YMCA. They don't work for the town of Bennington as they did before. One of the benefits of having the Y in that I see is that the YMCA is a national program that has so many resources and ideas for great recreational programming, including, you know, nights out programs for parents where they could drop their kids off and have pizza and a swim and be able to go out on a date. You know, they had a lot of pre-COVID wonderful programming, and they're going to do a lot of camps this summer too. So I think the town identified that they weren't really good, or at a point, not good. They weren't at a point where they could continue to run the organizational part of this, but they weren't looking to give up the actual facility. And there's been some controversy about that because people, you know, want to keep things sometimes the way it was.
Well, is the rec center open in any way right now?
Oh, yes. And it's having, you know, it has swimming, it has kids swimming, it has different activities going on. They have a camp, and they're also working up at Lake Perrin. They've been doing a Wednesday tutoring group up there. So they are fully vested in as many activities as they can. They're starting up the gardening process, that community garden, and continue to look for resources to expand some of the opportunities on the land that they have there.
Does anybody have any other questions for Betsy? Rod?
Betsy, was there ever any solicitation to the public for donations?
For this project?
Yes.
Well, the good part is that we have had some private donors, but because Beth and I are driven in grant writing, this whole project, over $4.5 million plus and counting, has been totally funded through grants. This has no taxpayer support in this project. This is all our federal money coming back to us. And so that's a good question, Bob. We haven't, for our part of the project, for if there was a phase 2, I think that kind of campaign would certainly be something that would be worth looking at and would have to be looked at. But this has been totally funded with grant dollars, federal dollars, but non-local tax dollars. So that's an important piece. This has not raised the taxes for any Bennington. This has all been a gift, as I look at it, from our federal partners. Not a gift, but a payback to us, because we pay into the federal world, right? This is our money coming back to us.
Are you going to be relocating anyone from North Bennington, the Head Start facility down there, or is that going to be still totally separate?
Right. So we do have another facility that we call River that used to be the old Country Corners for many of you that go back to the Lindy world. Lindy used to, and her mother used to run that. It's in North Bennington. We have been leasing that facility, and that has 3 classrooms in it. So we are moving that facility to this facility and adding on another classroom. So we are expanding services and expanding staffing and, all those pieces too. One of the things that we struggle with in the North Bennington location is some of our Bennington families, because we have limited transportation, have a lot of difficulties even getting from Bennington to North Bennington. It can be a long ways when you don't have adequate cars. So this will allow more families to be able to walk and reach us with or without transportation, which was really key. That was one of the areas that we really wanted to. So we are transferring a facility there and adding on, and we're also then able to add on at our current facility in North Bennington, another infant toddler classroom too. So we are expanding by almost 20 infant toddler slots, which for economic development is huge, because if you know the crisis we have in this community right now, finding care, and they will be both Head Start slots and non-Head Start slots. And when I say non-Head Start slots, that means they will go outside the income verification for Head Start. So we are opening them up more to community slots too.
Okay, that's great. Kristen?
Yeah, I'm sorry I got on a little late. You may have said this already, but what's your hopeful opening date, the grand opening date?
Well, I tell everybody we named it the Spring Center and not the Summer Center. So we are going to be in there in the spring. And that means that we hope to open, mid-May or so at this point. We are closing in on it quickly. As you know, COVID has been a challenge for all the trades. Plumbers, electricians, everybody have had their own challenges with COVID, and shipping itself has been a challenge. So the delay has been multifaceted for us. But we are anticipating, that we will be in there in May, and that will be a great celebration for sure.
Great.
And we are hiring. So I always put this out there. So we are looking for a bus driver, a family clinician, and early childhood teachers. So just to let you know, we are hiring too.
That was a really good presentation, because it's been exciting to see from the outside what's been happening, but interior looks really great. And that was all Jack Beyer that had designed that?
Yes, and you know, it really was fun. And really the pictures don't show what the, you know, really the effect of that curved wall is. It's kind of like a river going through there, again, taking that water theme. But we hope that someday in the near post-pandemic future, we can have a Rotary meeting there for sure. We certainly hope that maybe, you know, in August we'll have a ribbon cutting. But it is a real gift to the community in the sense that we have another space and place to meet. Because we all know that we don't have enough places and spaces in this community to bring folks together. So that's what we hope will happen there too.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Thanks. That was really very helpful to know what's happening.
Great. Well, it's
Good job. Thanks, Betsy.
With you. It really is. You know, thank you.